There were years when I believed control was love, when I thought that keeping things exactly where I placed them meant I was responsible, trustworthy, safe. I folded my life into neat corners. I stacked the days like linens in a drawer. I made promises and never broke them, even when breaking would have been kinder. I aligned the spines of books. I closed cabinets softly. I woke at the same hour and walked the same routes and drank my tea at the same temperature, always. The scarf was part of that. It had been a gift years ago from someone I loved in the way you love when you're young and believe. Love is a door that stays open if you just hold it there. He gave it to me on a morning that smelled like rain and tasted like goodbye, though I didn't know that yet. Silk. No, something softer, lighter, a fabric that barely existed. Pale gray with the faintest blush of rose threaded through. When I held it up to the window, light passed through it like breath. I wore it carefully. I folded it each night before bed, smoothing the creases with my palms, laying it flat on the dresser so it wouldn't wrinkle. I tied it in the same knot each, morning loose around my neck, ends tucked just so. I checked it in mirrors, adjusted it when the wind pulled at the edges. I was afraid it would fray. I was afraid I would lose it. And if I lost it, I thought I would lose the last soft thing. I had left from a time when softness didn't feel dangerous. The mornings blurred together. The early light always the same gray, turning to pale yellow, the hum of the refrigerator, the creak of the floorboards under my feet. I liked the predictability. I told myself I liked it. I moved through the rooms of my house like water through a well-worn groove, touching the same surfaces, straightening the same frames, folding the same scarf. My hands knew the texture without looking. Smooth, cool, slippery in a way that made you hold it more carefully because it wanted to move. But I didn't let it. I kept it close, kept it still, because if I could hold on to one thing, just one, maybe the rest wouldn't feel so much like slipping. It was a Thursday, or maybe it wasn't. The days had stopped mattering in the way they used to. But it was afternoon. The light was slanted, the kind that makes everything look softer than it is. I walked the hill path because I needed air, because the house had started to feel smaller, because the silence inside had grown a texture I could feel against my skin, and I wanted to be somewhere the silence had space to spread. The path curved along the ridge. On one side, the hill dropped away into fields. On the other, trees leaned in like they were listening. The wind was stronger up there. It always was. It moved through the grasses in waves, pulling them one direction and then another, a rhythm I could almost hear. I didn't notice the scarf loosening. Not at first. I felt the air on my neck, a coolness I hadn't felt in a long time. And when I reached up, my hand touched only skin. I turned. The scarf had slipped from my shoulders. It was behind me, caught in the air, twisting slowly like something weightless and alive. I stepped toward it, half step, half instinct. Then I stopped. I don't know why. Maybe because the wind held it so gently. Maybe because it looked more like itself in motion than it ever had, folded on my dresser. Maybe because something in me was tired of reaching. Time slowed. The scarf turned in the light, rose and gray and gold all at once. It lifted higher, caught a current, unfurled like a ribbon, like a wing, like something that had been waiting to move and was finally allowed. The sound of the wind replaced everything. No thoughts, no words, just the low, steady rush of air through grass and leaves, and the hollow space inside my chest. I stood there, I watched, and I remembered all the things I had held too tightly and lost anyway. The love I tried to keep by gripping harder, the friendships I scheduled and planned, and controlled until they became obligations instead of ease. The dreams I clung to long after they stopped fitting, because letting go felt like admitting I'd been wrong. I remembered the way my hands used to ache from holding on. I remembered the way my shoulders used to hurt from carrying what I should have set down. The scarf drifted farther. It turned once more, catching the sun along its edge, bright and brief as a breath, and then it dropped, not to the ground, to a branch, low and bare, stretching out from a tree at the edge of the path. The fabric draped across it, pale and soft, still moving slightly in the wind. I could have reached it. I didn't. I stood there with my hands at my sides, watching the way the light moved through it. And I thought some things go because they must move, not because you failed to hold them, not because you weren't careful enough, but because holding was never what they needed. I walked the hill again the next day, and the day after that, without the scarf. My neck felt bare. The air touched skin that hadn't been touched in years. Cool, direct, alive. I liked it. I hadn't expected to like it. But there was something about the openness, the way the wind could reach me now, without anything in the way that felt less like loss and more like space. The scarf was still there on the branch. I saw it each time I passed. Faded a little, frayed at one edge, still moving when the wind moved, still catching light. I didn't take it back. I thought about it. My hands remembered the texture. My body remembered the weight of it, slight as it was, around my shoulders. But I didn't reach for it, because something had shifted, not all at once, not like revelation, just a quiet opening, the way a door left. A jar lets in more air than you realized was missing. I started letting other small things go. A note I'd kept in a drawer for 10 years, folded and refolded until the creases were soft as cloth. I read it once more, then let it go. Dropped it in the recycling. Felt nothing but lightness. A routine I'd kept for so long, I'd forgotten why I started it. Morning tea at 7:45, always. One day I drank it at 8, then 8:30, then not at all. The day continued. The sky didn't fall. A fear I'd carried quietly, like a stone in my pocket. The fear that if I stopped holding on, everything would disappear. That I would be left with nothing. That loss was the same as being erased. But I was still here, still walking, still breathing, still watching the wind move through the grass, the trees, the pale fabric on the branch. The wind became my teacher, not in the way teachers speak, but in the way they move. It took things. It returned things. It passed through without asking permission. It touched everything and held nothing. It was never still, and yet it was the most constant thing I knew. I learned to let my hands stay open. I learned that losing isn't the same as being left. That release isn't rejection. That the things that go were never mine to keep, they were only mine to hold for a while, gently, until the wind asked for them back. And when it did, I could let go, not with grief, not with regret, just with breath, with ease, with the quiet knowledge that the world would keep moving, and so would I, and that was enough. The same hillside, sunset now. The light is amber and rose, pouring sideways across the ridge, turning the grasses gold. The air is warm. The wind is softer now, a whisper instead of a rush. The scarf is still there, farther along the branch, tangled a little, one end loose and drifting, still pale, still moving. I stand at a distance, not because I can't reach it, because I don't need to. My hands are empty. My shoulders are light. My neck is bare, and the air touches it without weight, without memory, just presence. I breathe in. I breathe out. The wind moves through me the way it moves through everything, taking nothing, leaving everything open. The wind took it, but it left me free, and the world kept breathing.